Hello and welcome to this video. In this tutorial, we are going to learn about Git Parallel Development. So first we need to learn about the branching operation. So we use branches as pointers to our commits or snapshots. Remember what I told you about commits? When we create a commit, we are actually creating a snapshot of our project, and that snapshot is going to contain all of the updated codes. Our project, but it is actually the updated project. So that is going to be our commit, or in other words, a snapshot of our project. So we have a main branch that is also called the master branch. So remember when we were actually entering our bash codes in our terminal application or inside the bash application, we entered the origin master. There we were actually referring to the master branch. So the master branch is actually your main project, your main codes. First we have the main branch or the main project. Next we have something called working on a new feature. So for example, you are working on a chat application and you want to add for example, voice chat feature to your app. So in that case, this means that you want to add a new feature to your application. And in this case, we recommend that you do not mess up with the main branch that is going to be your main project, because you want to add a new feature, and this feature can cause a little bit of problems, or maybe it can cause a bug inside the main project. So first you want to make sure that this feature works perfectly, and then you want to add this project, this new feature, to your main branch. So in this case, we are going to create a new branch in order to work on the project that is called parallel development. So we have two branches, which is fine. The first one is the main branch. The second branch is also our main project. This is our project, but we want to add a new feature to the project. So in this case, we are going to use the parallel development in order to work on the new branch and add the new feature. And then when it works fine and we know that it works perfectly, we are going to add this feature to the main branch. So in this case, we do not mess up with the main branch or the origin master. So we create a new branch from a commit or snapshot. So remember what I told you about commits, right? We create a commit and or snapshot. So we create a new branch there in order to add the new feature. So now let's learn about the kinds of branches. We have two kinds of branches. The first one is the local branches. We use local branches inside our local system or workspace that can be used in our local repository. In other words, the local branches are actually local to our computer or the local repository that we are working with. The same kind is the remote tracking branches. So it is just a connection between the local repository and the central repository. The remote tracking branches is just going to connect the local repository to the central repository. So now let's go ahead and learn about branches practically. So here on Windows, we have this Git Bash application. If you are using Mac, you need to use the terminal application after installing the Git. So now if you just go ahead and open the folder, I'm going to right click here and then click on Git Bash here. So if you're using Mac, you just need to manually just change the direction to this folder, to the folder that is named as Android-Git. So the first thing that you can see here is this master inside a parenthesis, this master keyword. This means that we are currently working on the master branch. So in this way, we can understand that currently we are working on which branch. So for now it is master. So in order to create a new branch, we just simply need to type in here git branch. Make sure that you don't have the typo here, and then space. So next we just need to put the name of the branch. You can name it whatever you want, but make sure that this is a meaningful name. So this is going to be our first branch. I'm gonna just put here FB. So this FB stands for first branch, and I'm gonna press an enter key on my keyboard. So let's see what happens. So now the first branch is created. So now let me tell you something about this new branch that we created here. This new branch is actually from this master branch, or in other words, this first branch that we created here is originated from the master branch. This means that it contains all the codes of the master branch. In other words, it is just a clone of our main project. But there is something different here. You can see that we are still inside the master branch. So it can be a little bit confusing, but that's okay. This means that we need to switch to the new branch that we created here. So in order to switch to the new branch, we just need to type in here git check out space and then the name of the branch. So FB. Make sure that the name that you are referring to is exactly the same name that you created, that you set for the new branch. So mine is FB, and I'm gonna press an enter key on my keyboard in order to see what happens. So now it says switched to branch FB, and here you can see inside the parentheses it says FB. So hopefully that makes sense. So now let's go ahead and create a new Java file inside our Android-Git folder. So I'm going to type in here touch. So because I'm using the Unix command, that's why this command works here in Windows inside this bash application. So touch and then space and then the name of the file. So I'm going to name it as mobile.java and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So if you go ahead and open the Android-Git folder, we should see this file here. So here it is, our Java file. And I'm going to open this file, mobile.java. So inside this file, let's create a new class. So you know that the name of your class must be the same as the name of your file. So this is going to be the mobile class. So class mobile, opening curly brace followed by a closing curly brace. So let me go ahead and increase the font size. So just click on File, and if you're using Mac, you just need to click on IntelliJ IDEA at the top and then go ahead and click on Preferences or Settings, and then here, Editor, Font. So now you can increase the font size here. And now inside this class, we can also create a new method. So I can say public. So I'm going to type in here the main method that the class, this mobile class, is going to have. So public static void main, and then inside the parentheses, a string array, the data type of the parameter, and its name is going to be args. So inside this method, I'm going to type in here system.out.println, and inside the quotes I'm gonna type in hello world semicolon. So now I'm gonna save this project, this file, and I'm gonna close it. Okay, now let's go back to our bash or the terminal application. So now I want to commit my changes, my mobile.java file. So first we need to add this mobile.java file to the git index, and then we can commit our changes, remember? So first we need to say git add, and then we need to refer to the name of our file. So mobile.java, and then press on enter key on your keyboard. So if you type in here git status, it should say that we need to commit this new file. So I'm gonna say git commit space -m, and then space, inside the double quotes we need to type in a message. So the message is going to be a mobile, or I can say Java As you can see, I actually accidentally pressed on enter key on my keyboard, and it is now it has committed this new change. But here I just wanted to let you know that this new change is in the first branch. It is not added to the master branch yet. Okay, so inside the double quotes I just wanted to type in Java class mobile in the first branch. So now you get the idea. So here you can see that it says that this change is actually committed, and it says one file changed here, and here you can see the name of the file, mobile.java. So here let me tell you that this new change that we added here is in the first branch, or FB, right? And in the origin master or in the main branch we don't have this change. So if you type in here ls, notice that inside the parentheses it says FB. If you press on enter key on your keyboard, it's gonna list all of the files that we have in the main branch. We have the lion.java, mobile.java, and all the other files. So now let's go ahead and switch to the main branch, to the origin master. So let's just clear this area first, because we have lots of code here. And notice that here it says we are in the desktop android-git folder in the first branch. So now let's go ahead and see what is happening, what is inside the master branch. So I'm gonna type in here git checkout space, and then switch to the master branch. So its name is master, right? So now press on enter key on your keyboard. Now we are switched to the branch master, and inside the parentheses you can see this master. Let's go ahead and type in here ls. Now we have lion.java, music.java, and all the other files, but we don't have the mobile.java file in the master branch. So now it's challenge time. Your challenge is to go ahead and create a new directory on your desktop and name it as chat app, and then create a new file and name it as voice chat. But this voice chat file should be in the new branch. You can name it whatever you want, but it should be added in the new branch, and then you can add changes there, and then make sure to list the files that you have inside the folder, that you are actually adding that new branch that is for the voice chat in the new branch, and you are not messing up with the master branch. And make sure that inside your master branch you have some other files so that you can see the difference. So give this challenge a go and good luck. So now it's time to learn about merging. So now assume that we have the master branch, right? So the master branch, I told you, is the production ready project. This is the project that is going to have the updated codes. It is going to be the project that we are going to, for example, if it is an Android app, this is going to be the project that we want to upload to the Google Play Store. So this is the project that we don't want to mess up with. So now, for example, its name is chat app. Okay. Now we want to add a new feature called voice chat to the application, but we don't want to just interrupt with the master branch. So now we are creating a new branch, and its name is FB. So for example, FB stands for first branch. The name of the feature is voice chat feature, and for example, it is done. We have successfully added the voice chat feature to our application. So now what? Now it's time to merge back in this feature to our final project, to our production ready project, by using the merging operation. Okay? Now that we have the new feature, it's time to merge it back to the master branch. So let's go ahead and let's see how it's done. So now open your Bash application or your terminal application if you're using Mac. And here, make sure that you are in the master branch first. If you are not, make sure to check out to the master branch, because the master branch is the target. We want to merge back our first branch to our master branch. So make sure that inside the parentheses it is master, and here the command that we are going to use is git merge and then the name of the branch. So the name of our branch is FB. So before I press on enter key on my keyboard, just take a look at these lists here. We have the lion and all of these files, but we don't have the mobile.java file inside the master branch. I'm gonna execute this command by pressing on my enter key on my keyboard. Now I'm gonna type in here ls in order to see what I have inside the master branch. So notice this mobile.java file is added to the master branch. Okay, so let me clear this area for you. So another important point that I want you to know about is that the first branch still exists. Okay, we just merged our first branch to our master branch, but the first branch still exists, and you can check out to the first branch, and if you want to, you can add new features to your application, to your project, and then just merge it back into the master branch. So for example, I can say git checkout FB. So now inside the parentheses, you can see that we are checked out, or we are switched to the branch FB. And then we can go ahead and open the android-git folder, and then go ahead and open the mobile.java file. Next, let's go ahead and modify this file. So I'm gonna add one more line of code here, one more println statement, and this time I'm gonna say hi world. So now let's go ahead and save this project and close it, and then we can go ahead to our bash application or the terminal application, and then inside the first branch I'm gonna commit my changes. But here let me tell you that because we just modified our already existing Java file inside this android-git folder, we don't have to necessarily add our file to the git index because it is already there. We just modified it. So in order to commit our change, we can just say git commit -a-m. So I know that we used this command in order to add multiple files to the index. But here, because we have already this file inside a folder and we just modified it, then I'm gonna use this -a here in order to also add this change to the index, to the git index. So we don't have to type in here git add and then the name of the file. By using this -a, we are already also adding this change to the git index and also committing it by using -m. And then inside the double quotes, I can say modified the mobile.java file inside the first branch, and then press on enter key on your keyboard in order to execute this command. Now if I type in here git status, now here you can see that it says that on branch FB nothing to commit, so it is already committed. Here you can see it says modified the mobile.java file inside the first branch, so this is our actually message. So I have a typo here also, and here you can see that it says modified the mobile.java file inside the first branch. So hopefully that makes sense. And now we can go ahead and merge back our first branch to our origin master, to our origin branch or the master branch. How? First we need to check out to our master branch. The master branch is the destination. So I'm gonna say git check out and then the name of the branch, which is the master. Now inside the parentheses it says master. Now I'm gonna go ahead and type in here git merge. I'm gonna merge back our first branch to our master branch. So git merge FB. Done. Now here it says updating. Now our changes are done and it says one file changed. So I just cleared this area for you so you can see what's going on here better. Here you can see that we are still inside the master branch, but how do I know that something is changed? How do I know what is modified actually? So we have a command for that. You just need to type in here cat space and then the name of the file. So the name of our file is mobile.java file. So mobile.java. So here let me tell you that you must be inside this directory android-git and in the master branch so that you can see that what is changed inside the master branch, and then press on enter key on your keyboard. So here we have the class mobile, and inside this class we have this method and we have these two lines of code. But this second line of code, system.out.println, it is added in the last update. So you can see that everything is committed perfectly. And you can also use this command in another branch. For example, in your first branch or FB, you can use this command in order to see what is actually modified and then decide whether you want to merge back that change, that branch to your master branch or not. So you just need to use cat and then the name of the file that you have changed or modified. So now that you have learned about the merging operation, it's challenge time. Go ahead and add that voice chat feature that you have created in the last challenge. Go ahead and merge that into your master branch. So good luck. So now that we have learned about the merging operation, it's time to learn about the rebase operation. So the rebase operation does actually the same job, the same task as the merging does, okay? But in a different way, in a linear manner. So based on my own experience, it's better to learn about the rebasing operation practically. So let's go ahead and open our bash or terminal application and let's see what is actually rebasing. So first let's clear this area and then let's switch to the first branch. So I'm going to type in here git checkout fb. Now let's go ahead and open our android.git file, and I'm going to go ahead and here we can either create txt files, but if you want to create Java files, you can do it here in your bash or terminal application. So I'm going to type in here touch and then the name of the file. So the first one is going to be boxer.java file, and another file, let's go ahead and say touch kickboxer.java. Okay, now if you go ahead and open your folder, you should see these two files, the boxer and the kickboxer. And then let's go ahead and open the boxer file. So here we don't have to create a class. I just want to modify this file. So I'm gonna enter a value. I can say this is boxer and then save this file, close it. Next, go ahead and open the kickboxer file. And here, let's also modify this file. So this is kickboxer. Save it and then close it. Okay, now let's go back to our bash application. So here, make sure that you are already inside the first branch and then to create these two files, the boxer and the kickboxer. So now that we created these two files, we need to add these two files to git index. So we have multiple files here, right? So we need to say git space dash, git space add dash, and then a capital A. This is very important. Git add space dash capital A, because we have multiple files. We want to add multiple files to the index. So I'm going to press an enter key on my keyboard, git status. So here it says that we have these two files and we need to commit them. So I'm going to say git space commit space dash A. We have multiple files, right? We want to commit all of these files. So that's why I said dash lowercase letter a space dash m space, and then inside the double quotes, the message. So I'm going to say boxer and kickboxer Java files committed. Next, let's go ahead and execute this command by pressing the enter key on our keyboard. So here you can see that it says two files changed. we are inside the first branch. So I can say git status in order to see that it says nothing to commit. So everything works fine. So let's clear this area. So now if you go ahead and type in here ls, inside the first branch, we have two new files, boxer.java and kickboxer.java. But if you go ahead and type in here get checkout to the master branch and type in here ls, you can see that we don't have the boxer and kickboxer Java files here. So let's go back, let's go ahead and switch to the first branch. So get checkout fb. We are going to say that we are inside the first branch, and I'm gonna type in here get space rebase master. So notice that we are inside the first branch and we are using this command get rebase master. So now let's go ahead and press an enter key on our keyboard and let's see what happens. So now it says the current branch fb is up to date. So this means that now that we rebased our first branch to our master branch, now it is up to date, that everything that we have inside the master branch is actually inside the first branch. That's why it says it is up to date. So now let's go ahead and let's switch to the master branch. So now I am inside the master branch. I just cleared this area for you. So in order to switch to the master branch, you know what to do, get checkout and then the name of the branch. Now I am going to do the same command in reverse order. I'm gonna say get, notice that I am inside the master branch, get rebase, and then this time I'm gonna refer to my first branch or FB, and then press on enter key on your keyboard. So now let's see what's happening. It says first rewinding head to replay your work on top of it. Fast forwarded master to FB. So this means that it is actually adding all of the commits of the first branch to the head of the master branch. So this is the same as the merging operation, but it is doing it in a linear order. So in this way, the advantage of using rebase operation is that we have less branches and everything is done linearly. And I think rebase is better, but you can use whatever you want. You can either use merge or rebase. So now that we are inside the master branch, if I type in here ls and press on enter key on my keyboard, you can see that we have the boxer and the kickboxer.java file inside the master branch. So it works perfectly. So now it's challenge time. Go ahead and create a new feature. This means, you need to create a new file and you want to add the emoji feature to your chat app. So you want to create a new Java file. It doesn't matter what you put inside the file. Just go ahead and name it as emoji. And you want to add this feature to your chat application so that your chat app can use emojis. And then try to use the rebase operation in order to merge your feature, your file to your master branch. So give this challenge a go and good luck. So now let's go ahead and push all of these changes to the central repository. And here, this is my web browser, my central repository, GitHub. And if you go ahead and make sure that you are logged in first. So if you click on your profile, you should see your repositories option if you click on it. So now here it is, our repositories. You can also enter this URL, github.com/your username in order to see the repositories. So here we have the hello-world. If you click on it, here it is, for example, our repository here. If you want to, you can go ahead and create a new repository here. So the most important point that I want you to know about is that here it is our repository hello world, right? So this means that everyone in the GitHub community has access to this project. They can go ahead and download our project. And for example, if you want to other people to access this project, and in that case, then it's gonna cause problems because others can mess up with our project or our repository and they can push, for example, buggy codes or whatever to our project. So we don't want that to happen. We want to create access rights here. So here you can see that we have this clone or download option. If I click on it, here we have a new option. It says use SSH. If you click on this one, now here it says use an SSH key and passphrase from account. So let's go ahead and copy this link. I'm gonna click on this icon in order to copy it. Now let's go ahead and open our Bash application. So because of the access rights thing that I told you about, first we need to generate an SSH key. So just type in here SSH dash key gen, SSH dash key gen, and then press on enter key on your keyboard. So now it says generating public/private RSA key pair. Enter file in which to save the key. So here it is the address of the file that it is going to save the key, the C, users, the name of your username of the computer, .ssh/id_RSA. So I'm gonna press on enter key again on my keyboard. Now it says create a directory. So here it is the directory in order to find the SSH key file. And then it says enter passphrase, and it says empty for no passphrase. So if you want to specify a passphrase, you can enter it here. So I'm gonna enter it here. And then as you can see, as I'm writing my passphrase here, it is not showing me here the letters or even little circles. So it is more secure. So don't worry if you are not seeing what is happening here. You just need to enter the passphrase and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So now it says your identification has been saved in this file, in this address, and your public key has been saved in this address. The key fingerprint is this one. So hopefully that makes sense. And this means that our SSH key is now generated, and now we can go ahead and use it. And also, if you want to see the content of your SSH key file, then you can just go ahead and type in here the cat command and then just paste this address here. Excuse me, I need to type it here again. So the Control C doesn't work here. I'm gonna right click on it and then click on copy. So cat and right click here, paste. So then press on enter key on your keyboard. So now here it is, the SSH key, my public SSH key. So hopefully that makes sense. So now that we have this SSH key, so make sure that you are using this .pub, the public SSH key that we need to use. And here, now that we have this key, we need to go ahead and add it to our GitHub. So let's go ahead and first copy this key. So I'm gonna select it and then click on copy. And then go back to GitHub, and here click on your profile and then click on settings. Next, go ahead and click on SSH and GPG keys. First, we need to click on new SSH key, and then we need to provide a title, and then we need to paste the SSH key there. So let's wait a little bit here. So the title is going to be, for example, I'm gonna say hello world SSH key. And then I'm gonna paste the key here. So now I'm gonna click on add SSH key. So now it is asking me to enter the password of my account in GitHub so that we can continue. So just enter the password and then click on confirm password. So here it is, our SSH key added to GitHub. This is the list of SSH keys associated with your account. If you want to, you can remove them. So now let's go ahead and open our Bash. So here it is. Here actually it is a little bit crowded. Just type in here clear. So now that we have put the SSH key in the GitHub, now we need to authenticate. So just type in here SSH space dash capital T space git @github.com. Okay, and then press on enter key on your keyboard. So let's wait a little bit here. Now it says the authenticity of host can't be established. RSA key fingerprint is this one. So are you sure you want to continue connecting? So we trust GitHub here. So I'm gonna just type in here yes. So it says yes or no. I'm gonna enter yes. and then press on enter key on my keyboard. It says permanently added GitHub to the list of known hosts. And it says enter passphrase for this key. So remember the passphrase that we needed to specify for our SSH key, and we could also specify an empty string value, an empty value for the password. So if you specified a value for the password, you need to type it here, the passphrase actually. So I'm gonna type in here my password. So you might not see the password here, don't worry, just enter it and then press an enter key on your keyboard. We have a new message here. It says, hi, this is my username. You've successfully authenticated. But GitHub does not provide shell access, so don't worry about this one. Now that we are successfully authenticated, we can go ahead and push our changes to GitHub. So remember, always use SSH key in order to secure your repository in GitHub, because we don't want anyone else to mess up with our repository. So now if you go to the GitHub, see here you can see we have this black key here in the SSH keys. If I go ahead and refresh this page, let's see what happens. Now this key is in green color. This means that we are successfully authenticated. So now here, let me tell you that we can also have a new branch in our central repository, so that we do not actually interrupt or interfere with our main branch in the GitHub. And we can have a new branch for our own, and maybe we can name it as new features or whatever. Or if you are actually in a team of developers, then you can have your own branch there, and everyone will know that this is your, for example, your branch, and you are working on your branch, and you have not decided to merge your branch to the master branch yet. So you can have that here too. So let's go ahead and let's see how it works. First of all, now that we are in the settings page here, you can see that we have this option. It says repositories. If you click on it, we can see our repository here, hello world. If I click on it here, now we are guided to this page. And now here we have something called branch, and currently it is master. If you click on it, you can see that here you can create a new branch. If you enter the name of your branch, you can just go ahead and create it. But let's go ahead and create our branch in the command line application, because it is much more professional and it is much more better. So let's go ahead and open our bash or our terminal application. So here, first let's go ahead and clear this area. So because we want to have a new branch inside the central repository here, inside this bash application, let's go ahead and switch to the first branch. So I'm gonna type in here git checkout and then the name of the branch, so FB. And then here I'm gonna, so notice that inside the parentheses it should say the name of your branch. So now next just type in here git push space origin space. Now before we used master, right? Now we are going to just refer to the name of our branch, which is going to be FB, and then press on enter key on your keyboard in order to execute this command. So here it says origin. So it says the origin does not exist. I have a typo here. So I'm gonna enter my command again, git push and then origin FB. Now let's wait a little bit here. So here it says enumerating objects 14 and it says done. So here you can see that it says create a pull request for FB on GitHub by visiting this URL. So now you can notice that we have a new branch inside our central repository. So if you go ahead and go to your central repository, here it says your recently pushed branches. Here we have the FB. If I click on this FB, now here it is our FB branch. So here it says branch FB, right? We are not inside the master branch anymore. We have two branches. The first one is the master and we have also the FB. So we are currently inside the first branch. So inside the first branch, we have all of these files. We have the boxer, kickboxer, lion, mobile, readme, all of these files. And if I switch to the master branch, you can see that we only have the music.java file and the readme.md file. So now hopefully you get the idea. Now we can go ahead and switch to the master branch. So here, let's first clear this area, and I'm gonna type in here git checkout master, and then just type in here git push space origin master. So make sure that inside the parentheses it says master, that this means that we are currently inside the master branch, and then I just need to push my changes to the master branch in the central repository. So I'm gonna press an enter key on my keyboard. The process is finished. If you go back to your central repository, and here the branch is master. So here, make sure the branch is master, and make sure to first refresh this page, and then you can see these changes. You can see that all of your files are added to the master branch, and you can also switch to the first branch or your FB, and you can see these files here. So hopefully that makes sense. So the final important point that I want to talk about here is about going back to the previous change. So let's go ahead and open our folder android-git, and for example, go ahead and open the mobile.java file. Here, I want to add another change. I want to add another line of code to my main method and paste it here. And this time I want to say, or let's say everyone. So let's save this file and then close our project. And then let's enter, because I want to see the contents of my mobile.java file. So cat mobile.java. So here you can see the content, and here you can see this line of code, everyone. So for example, I don't like this new change that I added to my mobile.java file, and I want to go back to the previous version of this file. So now that we have changed our file, you know that first we need to commit our changes, and then we can decide whether we liked our change or not. Or in that case, we can decide that we want to go back to the previous version or previous snapshot. Because what I told you about snapshots or commits is that we have the updated, or in other words, we have a snapshot that contains the most updated code. So now we don't have that snapshot, and this means that we cannot go back to the previous commit. So first we need to create a commit. I'm gonna say git commit. Because we have only modified our file, we can say -a space -m, and then two quotes, and then I can say modified mobile.java file, two quotes, and then press an enter key on your keyboard. So next, go ahead and use this command git log in order to just put the logs inside the command line tool. So next you have the logs, and then you need to find the specific log that is related to the previous changes of your file. So for example, in this case, our file is mobile.java file. So I want to roll back to the previous changes. So you need to take a look at the logs and see version of the file you want to roll back to. So here, for example, you have the date. So for example, I want to go back to the changes that I made at this hour, right? So you just need to find that specific date and find that specific commit. Here you can see the commit, and then you can go ahead and copy the first 8 digits of this hexadecimal code. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Copy these first 8 hexadecimal digits, and then go back to the bash file or the terminal application. So here you just need to enter git. So make sure that you are inside this android-git directory. I am inside the master branch. So git checkout space, and then you need to paste the hexadecimal code here, space, and then the name of the file. So it is mobile.java. and then press on enter key on your keyboard. Now let's go ahead and let's see what is the content of our mobile.java file. So cat mobile.java. So here you can see now we are rolled back to this version of the file. We don't have that specific line of code that we had added here because we wanted to go back to the previous commit. Now here you can't see this line of code. This means that we are rolled back to the previous version of this file and everything is working perfectly. Remember, these changes can only be rolled back if you commit your changes. Okay, we have snapshots of our project. So for example, you create a snapshot and later you know that, or you find out that that specific change is not working and you want to roll back to the commit to the previous commit. So you just go ahead and use this command git checkout, and then at the first digits of the hexadecimal code of the commit that you want to roll back to, and then the name of the file, mobile.java in this case, and then everything will be working fine. So make sure to use this cat command in order to always check your content of your file and see that everything is working perfectly. So let's see what we have learned so far. In this tutorial, we have learned about parallel development, but overall, we have learned about the working space, the project that you're working on, and then we add our changes to the staging area, the index, git index, and then we have the local repository. So for example, we commit our changes, so that's why we need the local repository, so that we have the snapshots of our project, and then we have the remote repository that is actually our central repository. In this case it is GitHub, and we use the push-pull operations in order to push our changes to our remote repository, or we use the pull operation to pull our changes back from the remote repository. So in this tutorial, we have learned about parallel development, about the branching concept. We also learned about merging and rebasing. And then finally, we could actually push all of our changes to the remote repository. So in the next tutorial, we are going to learn how to integrate the Git to Android Studio. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video.